من داخل البرلمان الأسترالي، النائب القبطي أدمون عطالله يعرض تاريخ الكنيسة القبطية. قام السيد أدمون عطالله عضو برلمان حكومة ولاية نيو ساوث ويلز بأستراليا عن منطقة مونت درايت مساعد وزير الشرطة ومكافحة الإرهاب خلال جلسة الاستماع التي عقدت في مبنى برلمان الولاية يوم الأربعاء الماضي الموافق 13 نوفمبر. عقب موافقة حكومة الولاية بتعديل المادة الخاصة بممتلكات الكنيسة القبطية بدستور 1990 من الوصي الوحيد إلى مجلس أوصياء، والتي قام قداسة البابا تودروس الثاني بالتوقيع عليها. وقد عرض النائب عطالله خلال كلمته تاريخ الكنيسة القبطية في أستراليا منذ أن تقدم المتنيح الأنبا صموئيل أسقف الخدمات لقداسة البابا كيرلس السادس بطلب صيامة كاهن للخدمة بمدينة سيدني التي تضم عدد من العائلات القبطية عام 1968، وصيامة الشماس ادوارد نعمة الله ابن أخت قداسة البابا كيرلس كأول كاهن لأستراليا باسم القس مينا نعمة الله نهاية عام 1968 ووصوله لسيدني عام 1969، وإقامة أول قداس قبطي بالقاعة المستأجرة من هيئة جيش الخلاص بحي ريدفن، وشراء أول كنيسة قبطية بأستراليا وأول كنيسة تابعة للبطريركية الأرثوذكسية القبطية خارج الوطن الأم مصر عام 1970 باسم القديسة العذراء مريم والشهيد مينا بحي سيدنهام، وتكوين أول مجلس شمامسة لها كان بينهم والدة المرحوم ممدوح عطالله أمينا للصندوق وأول قبطي يرشح لانتخابات برلمان الولاية. كما أشار السيد عطالله إلى خدمة المتنيح القمص مينا للمهاجرين الجدد القادمين من مصر وازدياد عدد الجالية القبطية من 20 عائلة إلى 100,000 في ولاية نيو ساوث ويلز التي تضمهم إبراشية سيدني وتوابعها وأسقفها الأنبا دانيال ونحو 86 كاهنا 35 كنيسة و3 مدارس قبطية ودير قبطي وكلية إكليريكية. وقد قدم السيد عطالله الشكر إلى كل الذين عملوا من أجل تعديل قانون الممتلكات بالكنيسة، وفي مقدمتهم قداسة البابا تودروس الثاني ونيافة الأنبا تدرس مطران بورسعيد. كما قدم الشكر لكل من السيد مايكل دالي المدعي العام لولاية نيو ساوث ويلز والدكتور هيو ماكديرموت السكرتير البرلماني للنائب العام لجهودهما في الموافقة على طلب التعديل.
The Coptic community was pleased to receive a reply to their request from His Grace Bishop Samuel, 1920 to 1981, the Bishop for Public Ecumenical Society Services, by letter in November 1967, advising that His Holiness has approved the establishment of a new church in Australia and had chosen Deacon Edward Labib Namatala to be ordained as the first priest for Australia. Deacon Edward was ordained as priest and given the name Father Mena. He began his journey on the 15th of December 1968 by ship, where he and his family boarded the liner Patrice on the shores of Alexandria heading to Australia. Father Mena and his family arrived in the Sydney Harbour Circular Quay on Friday 24th of January 1969. The first Coptic Mass was conducted at a Salvation Army Hall in Redfern. There was a need to forge relationships with the Australian government. As such, Father Mena took the opportunity to visit the New South Wales Governor, His Excellency Sir Roden Cutler, and presented the Governor with a gift of a Coptic cross. During these formative years, Father Mena obtained an authority from the Department of Immigration to sponsor prospective migrants to Australia. This represented one of the most important services conducted by the Church and resulted in an influx of new migrants coming from Egypt. Father Mena ensured that any new arrivals to Australia were made feel welcome and form part of the community. Father Mena took this role not only for those who were Coptic Orthodox, but other Christians and non-Christians from Egypt. The Coptic congregation was growing with new arrivals each week. This demanded the Copts to search for a permanent home for their church in Sydney. The Copts purchased the old Methodist church in Sydenham. The church was given the name of St. Mary and St. Mena. This was the first Coptic church in Australia and the first owned by Coptic migrants outside of Egypt. The first liturgy celebrated in the newly purchased church was on the 29th of March 1970. With the establishment of St. Mary's and St. Mena's Church, the first management board was established with 10 serving members. I'm honoured to mention that my late father, Mr. Mumdouh Cutala OAM, was appointed as the first treasurer of the management board in 1969. Sadly, my father passed away in 2015. I'm thankful that my father got to witness before his passing my inauguration to this place as the first Coptic member to be elected as the Member of Parliament outside of Egypt. I'd also like to make a special mention of Dr. Faraj Gubran OAM, who is the sole surviving member of the inaugural board. Dr. Gubran served on the first board with my late father and later became secretary of the board. Today, the Coptic Orthodox Church has grown from its humble beginnings of 20 families to 100,000 members in New South Wales. New South Wales now has a bishop, His Grace Bishop Daniel, 86 priests servicing 35 churches, 3 schools, a nunnery, a monastery, and a consecrated sister's house, a theological college, and a youth association. The Coptic Church also provides community outreach services and has many benevolent societies. With the influx of Egyptian migrants, a consulate was established to assist consular services for Egyptians living in New South Wales and to strengthen ties between Egypt and Australia. I acknowledge the current Consul General, His Excellency Mr. Mohammed Khalil, Consul General of Egypt in Sydney. I thank the Attorney General, the Honourable Michael Daly, and Parliamentary Secretary to the Attorney, Dr. Hugh McDermott, for bringing this important amendment of the Property Trust Act to the House. I also wish to acknowledge the interim board appointed by His Holiness Pope Tawadros in 2020. The interim board was headed by His Eminence Metropolitan Tadros, Bishop of the city of Port Said in Egypt, with 2 other board members being Dr. Mithat Gilgis and Mr. Nick Caldas. The interim board was tasked with reforming the New South Wales Constitutional Property Trust Act. Much of the work done to reform the Property Trust Act is to be credited to the interim board. I also wish to acknowledge Father Joshua Tadros, who is appointed as Papal Legate and Chairperson of the Diocese Board of Trustees. This amendment will now align with the Act Constitution of the Diocese and allow the administration of financial affairs to this large institution to be managed by a Board of Trustees, and I commend the bill to the House.